What's happening, people? What is happening? Cheers to lemon water slash vodka water. Of course, it's pure vodka. Talking about music theory today, guys. Got any questions about music theory? Do you really need it? Don't be shy. Ask a question. Not seeing any. Oh, there we got somebody. There's Waters. What's happening, dude? Advice on where to start to get a decent foundation of music theory for guitar, like a bit of total, like no, dude. Yeah, what I would say is like you've got three main things when you're talking about music theory. You've got intervals, you have key signatures, and you have chords. That's roughly where you start. So with intervals is simply just the distance between two notes. So if you have a note, a G, for instance, then if you play another note after that, what's the distance between those two notes? And that's what we call intervals. Like that's a perfect fifth, or that's a major third, or that's a major seventh. That's important. because intervals make up scales, they make up chords. You know, it's basically the building blocks of music. So intervals first. Are you familiar with intervals at all? Does that make any sort of sense or sound familiar? So after you get the intervals, then it's sensible to talk about chords because chords are a combination of intervals. So yeah, you get the basic concept, but I'm far from memorizing all of them. Yeah, right. So the way I would think about it is it's just, you know, it's like counting. You know, you've got minor seconds, major seconds, then you move on to thirds, major, minor thirds. So it's basically just ones, twos, threes, fours, fives, sixes, sevens, and then eight, and then you repeat. So it's just eight sort of basic, you just have to be able to count to eight, and then you have to be able to know major and minor. And there's a couple other things, but that's kind of the drill. So it's like you've got G to G. Well, that's just the same note. That's what we call a unison. But then when you go to the next closest note, that's a second. So minor second is 1 fret, major second is 2 frets. So those are your seconds. So, you know, count to 2. And then from there, you just keep going each fret, right? That's a third, minor third, and then that's a major third. Then you move on to fourths. That's a perfect fourth. Here comes the bride. And then it comes the most evil interval, the tritone. Devil in music. Augmented fourth. And then we move to fifths. You know, so it's just a matter of memorizing like the steps in between. Actually, I don't even think about the steps, to be honest. I just think about, you know, the distance on the guitar and the names of the notes. You know, like any sort of G to D is going to be a kind of fifth. You know, if you count G, A, B, C, D, that's 5 notes. So that's where you get the numbers from. Like, you know, counting through the musical alphabet, which is the regular alphabet, it just stops on G. So it's like you start on A and you stop on G. There's no such thing as an H or a Z or a Z if you're from Canada. Right? Why don't we call it ZZ top? Huh? That would just sound funny. ZZ top. Any other questions on music theory? Or anything? Yeah, so intervals, that's huge. And then chords is just a combination intervals. Stack 2 of them on top of each other. Hybrid picking. Hey, there's Marcus. What's happening, dude? Marcus, you're not on Instagram, are you? If you're not on Instagram, you should get on Instagram, brother. Shooting the shit today about music theory, guitar, Instagram. Instagram is the place. That is the place, man. Just got Instagram the other day, actually, but I haven't really done anything to set it up. Oh, dude, yeah, you got to get on there. It's the shit, man. You can look me up. We'll be friends. You can see, because on Instagram it's much more personal. You know, you can upload your stories and you can see what everybody's doing throughout the day. You got it, Waters. Waters is on Instagram, right? You're on Instagram, I feel like. Sometimes I get confused about the usernames, but follow the shit right out of me, brother. Yeah, you get to see like you know what I do on a day-to-day basis, behind the scenes kind of stuff. Metal Berserk, what's happening, dude? Nice to see you. All right, now we're getting the band together. Here's a unmusical warm-up exercise. Right? Sounds excellent. Hey, what's up, Mark? Hola to the Shred Master. Good to see ya. Case in point, you know, music theory can tell you that a song like that, you know, Miserlou by Dick Dale, is in the E Phrygian dominant mode. So why is that important? Well, I mean, it lets you know, like I could play this song in a bunch of different ways and sort of embellish it because I know that it's E Phrygian dominant. I know that E Phrygian dominant, for instance, is, you know, the chords E to F. AC/DC cap, yep. You know, you can embellish things. So, yeah, extremely useful. Let's see, tapping is on. Yeah, dude. Tapping. I wasn't doing tapping though. Oh yeah, I was doing tapping. You're right. Let's see. Yeah, so if yeah, you like tap E and F chords. They're all Phrygian dominant sounds. Let's see, what else? Do that in a lot of different ways, just knowing the chords that are going on. Epic, yeah. Oh yeah, brother. Let's see, where's some other chords? That's a E mixolydian sound. Gives you a lot of freedom to be able to go about the neck. How to change a lick from major to minor, to Lydian to Phrygian? That's a great question, Mark. Okay, so got by without writing theory. Songs in my previous death metal band pretty well, but since I started learning more theory, it does help. Yeah, oh, yeah, it's so helpful coming up with new ideas because, well, for instance, let's take Mark's question. How do you take a lick and make it major or minor? I was just doing this a minute ago on Instagram. Right? Sacrilege to play that lick. I just did it. But to make it, so that's a major lick, you know, it sounds happy because of the major third, right? If you want to make it minor, you have to understand, what key you're in first of all. It's D mixolydian. So you're in D mixolydian, which is a major mode. So the major third in D mixolydian is F sharp. But if you want to make it minor, then you take the major third and you make it a minor third. Sweet child will now become a sour child, right? So the way I knew how to do that was, like I said, I knew the key, which is D mixolydian. D mixolydian is major. The major third in D mixolydian is F sharp. And then you take that major third, make it minor, and boom. That's the general idea when you're taking a riff and you take it from minor to major, or the other way around. So that's kind of like a little more advanced music theory, to be honest. Like most people who have it's just more advanced. It's not easy to be able to take a lick and transfer it to a different mode, But let's say you want to make that Lydian. So there's the original, right? Well, D Lydian would have a sharp 4 in it. So now we have to take what you do is you take the 4th degree and you make it a sharp 4, which makes it Lydian. So now you have every G in the melody I change to a G sharp. And then you get D Lydian. Just like it's magic, it's Christmas time, Anyway, very cool concept, and it's great for writing songs. Yeah, go ahead and get your guitar. Fukan, it's time. Class is in session. What else was I doing this with? Right, so we got Enter Sandman. So it's E minor. Yeah. So E minor is the key of Enter Sandman. And the lick. Now if you want to make it E major, so from E minor to E major, then again you take that minor third and you make it a major third. Thanks, Marcus. You like the clean tone? What is this clean tone? This is a deluxe verb, so it's a Fender. All right, now, so let's see. So that'd be like just regular Ionian. We could make it Lydian though, which would actually be changing less notes because of that flat 5 in the original. Whoop. So if we made it Lydian, so anyway, I mean, you can see like if as a songwriter, I mean, this is huge because if you have like a riff or a lick or something, you know, it can come back in different modes, and that will add sort of depth to your songwriting chops. Um, you know, it's thematic continuity. Composition is defined as repetition and development. So you repeat something, and then you develop it, and this would be developing it essentially. That's the development part. All right, we're going back to a dirty tone. Keep it dirty. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, that's a. I love that particular idea. What was it doing? So it's like schism from Tool, right? Which is D minor. Now, D minor has a F note for the minor third. Let's see, hold on a minute. I've heard the trem mode mixture. Could you explain that, what that means exactly? Oh, mode mixture. Yeah, okay, hold on a second. Let me do this one real quick. So we got so if you want to take schism and make it major, what we're going to do is we're going to replace that minor third with a major third, which is F sharp. Ridiculous. That'd be Lydian. And that G sharp in there. Modal mixture, let's see. Not really sure what you mean by that. You might, is that like a almost sounds like a Satriani term. But the best way to think about changing modes, in my opinion, is let's say you know you're in Ionian, which would be like Crazy Train, backwards, you know. Right, so that the Crazy Train riff really. That's essentially A Ionian in reverse. So if you want to mix up that mode, let's say you want to make it A Aeolian instead of A Ionian, which would be minor. Let's see, what would that be? That's what maybe that look like that. So the chords I'm playing, so the original Crazy Train chords are A, E, D, A, all voiced over an A pedal tone. But the primary chords for the minor would be A minor, E minor, D minor, and then A minor again. So that'd be a direct modal mixture, you could say. You know, you're mixing in a different mode there. Let's see. I wonder. That might be a little tricky. Like your Lydian version. That'd be Mixolydian. Oh, let's see. That's getting really heady now. Do I make any sense here? Going off the deep end of hardcore modal theory. The Lydian chords are A and B. All this stuff, by the way, is in my Modal Mayhem course, guys. I think I have that link down below. But the Lydian chords are A and B. So that's the Lydian sound there. The problem is, you know, we all are taught about modes as being scales, and we don't really get the sound in our ears. You've got to learn the chords for that. I love this. I hope this video stays up. Well, thanks, my man. Yeah, I usually take down my live videos after a while because the thumbnails don't sync up with my other ones. I have another potentially dumb question. No dumb questions here, Marcus. Fire away. Let's see. Can you give me advice for G minor scale solo? That's a good question. Let's get ourselves in the key of G minor. All right, we're in G minor. Now, it helps to have a backing track. I think I've got a backing track in G minor. Hold on just a second. Let's find out. All right, so in order to solo in G minor or any key, well, I mean, since you already know the key, you don't have to figure that out. So that's usually step number one, is find out the key. So once you get the key, which is G minor in this case, you need, you know, the scale patterns, right? So G minor pentatonic, why don't we stick with that? You know the pentatonic scale? That's what I would start with right there, G minor pentatonic. If you don't know that, you can email me. Is email the best way? It's even better to DM me on Instagram, actually. So you just search Shredmaster Scott on Instagram, DM me, and I'll send you the tab for that. So start with that, you know, the G minor pentatonic scale, and just mess around. You know, I mean, just play some licks. Yeah, there's no wrong notes if you stay within the scale. That's a good place to start. You know, just plug in the G minor pentatonic scale, improvise a little bit, you know, and just get your ears going. Then, you know, you can learn some licks, you know, try out some different patterns and that kind of thing. Like that'd be a lick there, but there's a lot of licks to learn. Let's see, what else we got here? I found a scale called Hungarian minor. Sounded really cool, but it has 3 chromatic notes in it. Can you split the scale up in modes? Same way as a normal major scale. Yeah, of course. Let's see, Mark, DM. DM stands for direct message on Instagram, so you can just send me a message on Instagram. You look up Shredmaster Scott. So Hungarian minor and deriving chords from a scale. The way that you derive chords from a scale is this. You just play every other note. That's it. So if you're, let's take the major scale because that's a much easier example. If you're in G major, right? There we go. Get our ears acquainted to the key. The way that you derive chords from the major scale is instead of playing every note, right, you play every other note. So it starts on G, you skip the next note, which is A, go to B, and then you skip the next note, which is C, go to D, and you get your first chord. Make sense? So next, I mean, if you want to find the next chord in the key, you go to the second note, which is A, and then you do the same thing. You play every other note. And that's how you derive chords. Doesn't matter which scale it is. This will work on any scale. Not to say that, I mean, some of the chords might come out kind of funky, but, you know, it is what it is. So that's how you derive chords from a scale. I know most scales, but none of the licks. Right, so that's what you need at this point, is to get a couple licks under your belt. Like in G minor, try this one. 3rd fret of the G string, pull off to the open, and then do the same thing on D. That's a great lick right there to start with. Tritones. What about tritones? Oh yeah, that's right. That's what is that? Purple Haze. Yeah. How do I get started on that? Oh yeah, tritones. So yeah, tritones, why not? Why do some chord progressions sound better than others? The answer to that question, why do some chord progressions sound better than others, is actually science. You know, it's something called the overtone series. You know, when you depress a note on the piano keyboard, there's actually other frequencies that sympathetically vibrate that are more subtle. And that's what we call the overtone series. So that's where we get chords, it's where we get intervals. You know, it's actually built in to science. So if you ever heard the term like music of the spheres, it's kind of this sense that, you know, there's music is just sort of built in, you know, to the universe somehow, without getting too like, you know, into woo-woo science or whatever. That's basically the idea, though. So I mean, it's like Lydian is Lydian for a reason. It's, you know, it's built in. That's why it's kind of universal. You know, everybody recognizes that as being a certain kind of sound and emotion. You know, it's got a sound. So, music of the spheres. Let's see. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, we're in G minor again. It's a cool key. It's actually not a key that's super duper common on guitar because it has two flats, so you can't play your E strings or your B string. That's a real B. But yeah, guys, follow me on Instagram. Oh man, we only got one like. Only got one like and 5 people watching. I'm hurt. I'm gonna cry a river after this and drown my sorrows in a river of beer. There we go. We got 2 likes. But yeah, follow me on Instagram, guys. You get more direct interaction with me. Phrygian is pretty satanic, right? I guess. Guess yeah, you could say that. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's pretty wicked. Oh, gotta warm up the old fangers today, guys. Definitely some evil notes in there. 4 likes, yes. Okay, I feel so much better about this day and about my life in general. So Phrygian, again, all the stuff's in my Modal Mayhem series, which you can check out in the description. The thing that's so unique about looking at modes as chords is you really get the sounds. And that's what it's all about, is the sounds. You know, when you play a scale, it's like you only get so much data from that for your ears, you know, like A Phrygian. Okay, you know, that it's something, but this is a lot more. You know, that could be a song, whereas this, nah, not so much. You know, it just gives you a lot more sonic data, so to speak, if that makes any sense. So A Phrygian chords, A minor and B flat, or the formula is you just take a minor chord and then a major chord up a half step. So let's say we're in D Phrygian. That's your 1, and then to find the Phrygian, the next Phrygian chord, you go up a half step from D minor, which is E flat, right? And then you play that chord over the D root. And there you go, instant Phrygian. Let's say you're in G Phrygian. So that's G minor, your first chord. Go up a half step from G and make a major chord. So you got it. And there you have it. Let's see, Follow Behind. He explains very well the feelings in every mode in his Modal Mayhem. Oh, well, thanks, Marcus. Appreciate that, brother. Glad, yeah. And I really like your questions, too, about how to apply them. You know, I did a couple videos on that, but I need to do an even better job on explaining that, actually. How about in every key? What in every key, Mark? Master, I'll ask one more question. Can you give me information about melodic death metal? Melodic death metal. Well, I mean, as the term implies, well, first of all, regular death metal doesn't typically have melody, right? You know, so you take something like Cannibal Corpse, it's, you know, the Cookie Monster vocals, and it's not really, you don't like hum Cannibal Corpse songs, you know, in the car. You know, you don't like whistle them. You know what I mean? There's no like line there. There's no like, you know, like that's a melody. So in melodic death metal, you know, you have melodies. More melodic, or at least there's more of an emphasis on that. But so yeah, I mean that, and of course you're gonna want to work on your technique stuff, fast picking, gallop picking kind of stuff. Those two things, the gallops, the alternate picking. Because a lot of that stuff's pretty fast. And then, yeah, the theory, you know, get the chord progressions. Explain the feelings in every single key. Maybe you mean every single mode. I mean, because every single key, I mean, Phrygian, you know, is going to be the same mood no matter what key you play it in. It'll just be different notes, like, you know, but it'll still be creepy, like deep Phrygian, like I did a minute ago. And let's say you're doing E flat Phrygian. It's still the same mood, it's just, you know, a different sound or a different pitch. But if you're talking about every single mode, a move for every single mode, totally. So that's what's in my Modal Mayhem course. I've got every single mood for every single mode. You know, like Ionian is 1, 4, and 5. Dorian is minor 1 to major 4, A minor to D. Phrygian is minor 1 to flat major 2, or A minor to B flat. What's next? Lydian, A to B, or major 1 to major 2. Mixolydian, A to G. Is that what you're talking about, Mark? Explaining the feelings in every single key. How does one do super legato? Super legato. Well, I'm not sure what you mean by super legato, but if you want to develop your legato chops, actually the exercise I was doing at the beginning of the video is a really good one. This one. Not the most musical, but that's a good one for developing your strength. What I'm doing is, let's say for instance you're on the 6th fret of the low E string, you play that, then you play 7, then you play 9, and you just go back and forth. Keeping this index finger down. And then you do that on every, you do that on every string. I'm only picking the first note of each new sequence or each new string. Anyway, super legato. Actually, I have a lot of cool legato licks. If you go to my Patreon page, which is also linked in the description below, I've got a lot of legato exercises. This is a great one here. So I'm going across strings. So I'm not picking that. That's super legato. Super motherfucking legato. Let's see. Anyways, so we did good today, guys. That was a fun stream. Got to start live streaming more often so we can shred more. Probably gonna do a live stream on Instagram now. Um, so Instagram, yeah, you guys check out Instagram. It's the shit. How many of you guys have an Instagram account? I know Marcus said he was gonna, or he just got one. But yeah, look me up. Let's hang out. You get behind the scenes shit on Shredmaster Scott, and yeah, we can be friends and have ourselves a good time. I'm trying to write Melio death metal. Let's see. Hold on a minute. Thanks for the info. Acutely. Actually, I love Machine Made God, the German melodic death metal group, but I can't find the tabs anywhere. Yeah. Right. That's where using your ears comes into play. I actually don't use tabs myself because I've developed my ears, so I use my ears. But yeah, in the next stream, remind me to talk about more about ear training. We didn't actually get to ear training today, but awesome. Follow me on Insta. Yeah, DM me so I know who you are, and we can link up. Coming from Instagram as soon as possible. Yeah, Instagram is great, man. You guys are gonna love it. You take requests on Patreon. Yeah, I mean, I just took someone's request. The last video, the one on psychosocial, that was a request from an Instagram guy. So if you're one of my patrons and you have like a reasonable request, something that I think I can do, if it's like do a handstand and shred, Michelangelo Patio style at the same time, then I probably won't be able to pull that off. But you're training on Patreon. Um, I've got a lesson on music theory there. I haven't really done much on ear training yet, but that's something I need to put on the docket. But yeah, if you become my patron and you have a reasonable request, I'll do my best to make a video about it. So yeah, check it out. Instagram, Patreon, Modal Mayhem below if you want to learn more about modes and get that shit going. Like I said, yeah, it's the chords, man. Like so few people understand that, and that's what makes my Modal Mayhem course so brilliant. Is it unpacks, with a formula every single mode. Like I was playing earlier, you can really just boom get the sound of a mode instantly through these formulas. They're magic formulas. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. Shred till you're dead. We'll do it again soon. Rock and roll.